How's it going, guys? It's Angelo and Chris. We are back with another episode of Music Monday. We're revisiting the 1970s decade once again, looking at two more acts before we wrap it up. First off, we have Foreigner. They performed here on October 7th, 1977, and they, with all honesty, might be one of the biggest bands to ever grace our campus. This was just after the release of their first album, so not a lot of music out, but they still had a total sold-out show. An excerpt from The Independent, the student newspaper, reads, "Tickets were sold out on the first day of sale. Possessing a ticket to this affair seemed to be a status symbol, and the holder was envied by many. It is unfortunate that the group had to play so loudly. It's difficult to enjoy music if one cannot hear. But in spite of their loudness, Foreigner performed well. It is nice to know that they stopped by Kean on their way to the top." And it's just that last sentence there, that really hit home, because they certainly rose to the top after this performance and became one of the biggest bands in the world. We also have some pictures from the concert from the 1978 yearbook that really encapsulate the performance and show their raw emotion. But moving on to the next performance, we have Peter Frampton.
Right, so Peter Frampton came and played Kean on October 8th, 1979. And actually this was the second time playing Kean, the first of which being in 1975. And what's interesting is that the yearbook says that his fame was dying down at this point, but whether or not that's true, Peter Frampton that night put on such a great performance that the audience was roaring for an encore. And the article in the newspaper reads, "After about 2 minutes of cheering, the band came back on for an encore. Peter was smiling as he walked up to the microphone and said, 'I haven't played in such an intimate place in such a long time, but it's not the size, it's the people.'" And I think that's honestly just a really heartwarming and sweet thing for him to say in general. And I also think it's just really cool and awesome that he acknowledges the engagement of the Kean students at the concert, because the music, live music specifically, was such a big part of Kean's culture, especially back then. And it's nice to just see somebody of that size acknowledge that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to see that the students were respecting these live performances and showing an outpouring of love. So it's really awesome to see. But as always, thank you guys for listening, and tune in next week to see performances from the 1980s.
See you then.